Today's topic depicts the life of Jesus. One day, Jesus was walking through a certain city. This comes from Luke chapter 11 of the Bible verse, where people bring forth him a person who is possessed. He is possessed by a mute demon. Jesus delivers that person. But the people around him ask, "Do you get your power from the Lord, or do you get your power from the son of Satan, that is Beelzebul?" At that time in the Bible, Beelzebul was the prince of the devils, and he had power at that time. But Jesus said, if you have a divided house, you will always feel doubtful in your minds, and that is when you will get this doubt. But I come from the Son of Man, who is full of life, and I come to give you victory. Jesus says that. He further on goes and says in the story, in the verses of Luke chapter 11, verses 24 to 26, where he says, when we have our spaces empty, an unclean spirit returns. Just see that. When an unclean spirit is gone out of man, he walks through dry places, seeking rest, and finding none, he said, I will return unto my house where I came from. And he come and he finds the house swept and garnished. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of man is worse than the first. This talks about where you have an empty heart. In the Bible, you send out something out of your life, but it comes back in 7 different ways. How many of us have felt that? That one thing that we let out of our life comes back in 7 different ways. From 7 demons to 700 demons that we're facing in this life right now. I want you to break free from that. Don't you want to do that? Because Beelzebul, or the prince of demons, or the devil, does not have control over us. God has ultimate control over us. Don't we need to know that? When we have an emptiness, when we have an openness, nothing wicked comes back into our life. Nothing wicked, nothing sad, nothing fearful, nothing without hope, nothing without life. You might be facing a family situation in your life. Break free from that and come back to Christ. Do not leave that emptiness inside you. Luke chapter 11 verse 29 to 30, and that's the end of it. And while the crowds were thickly gathered together, he began to say, this is an evil generation. Jesus says this. This is an evil generation. It seeks a sign, and no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah the prophet. For as Jonah became the sign to Ninevites, so shall the Son of Man become to this generation. We live in a generation, we can call it Gen Z also. We are almost in the brink of a pandemic. We have so many problems in our life, in this century even. When we are in that generation, we always want to seek a sign. Some type of approval or acceptance or a symbol that should come to me, and then only I'll do this. That is emptiness, isn't it? And if we are in a new generation, the Son of Man, that is God, will come to us, Jesus, in His own form, and save us from all the emptiness that we feel in our life. If you do not believe this, put it into practical knowledge in your life, and you will understand what benefits you get from this. This small story of the depiction of Jesus Christ in a certain city might be just a small thing to you, but it carries many meaning. If you are facing 7 to 700 demons, or 7,000 demons even, you do not have anything to fear. You have to only do this. Leave that emptiness inside you and fill it with the promises of God, the faith that He can provide, so that you can go on with your life. This I say from personal knowledge, and I want you to understand all of this, that the suffering that you face is temporary. Even if it looks like permanent, it will go off like a gust of wind. In Jesus' precious name, we thank everyone for seeing these devotions. We hope that we can meet you for the devotions in the future also. Praise the Lord.